थर्सडे को करता है, गुरुवार को, I don't remember which day it was, but it was like just 4 days away. Once my mother had actually seen on one occasion this mass Upanayana happening, and just to be there in that whole atmosphere and to hear Swami saying Om and all the Vatus responding Om and repeating after Swami was something which blew her mind off. Okay, that Gayathri herself was giving Brahmopadesham. It doesn't get bigger than that. And so she had mentally made up her mind that come what may, my son's Upanayana will be done only by Swami. If it means that, because Upanayana typically should be done before a particular age, 12 or 10 or something like that. If it does not happen, it will not happen when he gets married, the day before that there is the first Upanayana, that, that some ceremony is there. Because she had told me all this. And much against the wishes of all my family members. Because my family members were all Sai devotees, but what is the probability that there will be another mass Upanayanam, and how long are you going to wait? And if you are expecting Swami to personally do it, where is our access to Swami, etc., etc. And they said, see, my mama, I remember, had very clearly told that, see, Swami is everywhere. We'll put a Swami's photograph and do it in Bombay and all of those things. But my mom was absolutely, vehement, very, very obstinate that whatever happens, Swami only will perform it. And it so happened with a sequence of events, so many beautiful events happened. We had got an interview, and in which my mother told Swami that, Swami, you have to perform his Upanayanam. To which Swami immediately agreed. He says, हाँ करता है. And so he says, Swami कब? अभी Thursday को करता है, गुरुवार को. I don't remember which day it was, but it was like just 4 days away. And it had hit this news because my father was not there at that time, in Puttaparthi. Only my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, my sister and myself. So they were like, if Swami is going to perform, then we have to call relatives and all that. So the interview got over, and because Swami had told, Thursday, so my frantically, in those days, no mobile phones and all that, frantically called as many relatives, as possible. 19 of them had come. My father tried every single flight to come to, he had tried even a first class ticket, to buy a first class ticket to come, for in time. Just not able to get. But my father said, just go ahead. This chance you won't get. And so I remember, all my relatives were like, just imagine the excitement of being called and, into the interview room, personal and all that. And so people had landed up overnight, and we were waiting with 3 trays in our hand. And of course, there were a lot of devotees who helped us. Couple of the ashram people who had seen this happening before. So they had told us what all to be, what all should be kept ready, etc., etc. And all that was ready, and we sat in the first row. We went and asked for a first line permission because we told them that Swami had told us. So they gave us, and we sat over there in the first row. Swami comes for darshan. He walks past me. I'm sitting there with all the paraphernalia. Just doesn't even look at me. Okay, my parents, my mother and everybody sitting that side doesn't look at them. He just completely, as if he didn't exist. He just walks in and day's over. And after that, we are all looking at each other after the morning darshan saying, what happened? And everybody, now this was the time when, my mother had to face, all this thing of the relatives. They had travelled from Bombay, Pune and Sholapur and all these places, and all of them had actually booked, to go back after the morning darshan, because everybody thought that morning everything will be over and evening we will all go back. And so one by one my relatives started leaving, and everybody called names to my mother saying, this is your obstinacy, this is your craziness. Where does Swami have time, for such small things? Why? Simply just because he told something and you should not, kind of. And my mother was like, but he told me, what can I do? And it is not happening. So even at that time, that morning also after bhajans when we came out, We were like looking at each other. He said, see, everything is ready now. My mama told, everything is ready. Ganesh Mandir is there. Let's just do it in front of Ganesha. Right? I mean, everybody is there, all relatives are there. My mother said, no. Swami said he will perform. So they were like, they completely put off, and over the next 3-4 days, everybody left. Again, we were only left with 4 of us. Grandfather, sister, mother, myself. And obviously time was running out, in the sense we also had our vacations were coming to an end. We were about to come back. One morning, myself and grandfather have gone to Dharmavaram railway station to book our tickets to go back. And morning, after the morning darshan and everything, just before bhajan, Swami has come out for another round. My mother is seated over there, and he comes and walks on. Kya amma, kidhar hai tum? Hum kitna dhoonda tumko? Swami is telling my mother, how much did I search for you? Where were you? I was waiting that day. And my mom was like, what do you mean? In her mind, what do you mean? So she even told Swami, hum log sab ready the, Swami. Oh, fir kya kar sakta hai? Swami is asking. So she was like, Swami, aapki jo ichha, aaj sham ko karta hai. Now just imagine, generally Upanayanams are not done in the evenings. Everything, the Muhurtam is always the morning Muhurtam, very rarely evening Muhurtam. And we have no idea of Muhurtam, etc. And Swami calls Shauri auntie and says, put them in the front, today evening I am going to perform. And now we are stuck up in Dharmavaram. There is no way to contact us. So we have gone, and we are expected to come back by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So my mother is frantically waiting for us, desperately waiting for us. The moment we landed, Swami told that he's going to do it this evening. So now there's no time to call the relatives, nothing, because it's just that evening. Called up my father. Father said, dear, we'll all pray. And the people who had guided us, they said, you know what, maybe Swami doesn't want so much paraphernalia. Just let go. Don't hold on. Just go there and simply sit. Okay, so we just took one tray. My grandfather always wanted to do Pada Sevanam for Swami, that is, cleaning his feet. So water in a jug, and they had said, see, keep one thread, you keep it along, one kumkum, akshatam, that's it. And so, I had mentally made my mind up that this time if Swami comes, I'm going to stand up over there and say, I am here, man, I'm ready over here. Okay, and I said, whatever I have to face, I'll face it. But as soon as Swami came out, I could see my mother sitting on the lady's side. The moment Swami came out, Swami told her, go inside. So we all went inside, and just the 4 of us, of course many other devotees, but Swami made me, so as soon as the interview started, he made me sit, close to him. So my mother on the left hand side, I on the right hand side, and then Swami waved his hand and created the thread. And then he went on to explain the thread. I don't know whether, lot many purohits or any priests can actually explain what are those threads for. So he showed the thread, and he said, how many threads are there? There were 3 threads. And each of those 3 threads were made up of 3 more threads. And then Swami said, do you know what this signifies? Swami said, the first one is Trimurti, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Second is Trikala, that is past, present, future. And the third one is Triguna, which is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Think of the Trimurti in the Trikala so that you can go beyond Triguna. That is the purpose of this. So, okay, beautiful. Then he made my mother hold one end, I held one end, Swami was holding one end. And then Swami, said, chant after me. And so I chanted thrice after Swami. And then Swami said, Sandhya Vandan karega? So I said, हाँ Swami karunga. Means, will you do? Then Swami said, even if you are not able to do, always chant Gayathri Mantra. And that in fact has become I don't know whether I should say this, but to me it is closer to me than even Sai Gayatri. It's the most powerful mantra, and the more I chant it, the more I am in love with it. Okay, and it is probably the most potent weapon that we have against all these, the external exigencies. And so Swami said, even if you are not able to do, I think he knew that I will not be able to do, because I am not that ritualistic kind. And so he said, even if you are not able to do, morning during bath, chant Gayatri. Afternoon before food, chant Gayatri. Night before sleeping, chant Gayatri. And whenever you get time, chant Gayatri. And then he said, so how many faces does Gayatri have? Now this was a standard Balvika's question. Okay, I had gone through Balvikas. But in front of Swami, I'm just dumb. So my mother, she's kind of, five. Hey, Swami is saying, तुम चुप बैठो, उसको बोलने दो. Hey, Swami, Panchamukhi Gayatri. Okay. What are the names of the faces of Gayatri? This is out of syllabus for my mother also. Okay, so I am looking Swami. Then Swami said, Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. These are the 5 names of the faces of Gayatri. And this was absolutely a new, I had never heard this in any of Swami's discourses. And so that's why now even when I meditate, that's how I meditate on those Panchamukhi Gayatri, the Om, Bhur, Bhuvasvaha. And each of these have such beautiful, inner significance. That itself is a separate whole thing. Then Swami asked, Tumhara Ishta Daivat kaun hai? Who is your favorite deity? And so my mother is telling, hey, tell you. I'm completely, I'm blank over there. I said, hey, usko bolne do. So then she said, then my mother only said, Swami, you are only our favorite deity. Aisa nahi hai, don't. Then so after that Swami had given a lingam, which he said, do Abhishekam over this. But what I very vividly remember was at the end of the interview when my grandfather wanted to, wash Swami's feet. So then he said, Swami, can we give us this opportunity to? Then Swami said, Swami ko ye acha nahi lagta hai. Swami does not like this. You follow Swami's path. And when you see Swami, when those tears of joy fall, that is the right kind of water that you have to pour on my. And this is something that I have seen, or this is something that I have always did. If we are in Swami's presence, we have to tear, we have to cry. Right? Mirabai did that. Tulsidas did that. Okay, though that physical form today we miss, but because he's so close to our heart, definitely we can wash his feet. Probably also because Swami knew that don't hold on to these kind of small things like, the most fantastic opportunity to wash his feet, but don't hold on to that. More important is to follow his word and to let the joy be all the time with you. So this was something that I remember about my Upanayana which Swami had performed.